Books on the chopping block, origin stories, and the talk. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new number one issues, new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is for books that are releasing on June 17th, 2026. So it is a bit of a smaller week this week, so not a lot of exciting books to talk about, but there's still a couple of gems in there, so we're going to talk about them. And there, like I kind of hinted at, there are a couple of books that it's going to be make or break for me. So we'll see what happens with this list. I also have a couple of honorable mentions and noteworthy books this week. Before I get into all of that, for anybody that is a follower, a viewer of Comic Book Weekly, you know we have been on hiatus. And the plan is to have our June episode this coming Tuesday on the 16th. Still kind of waiting on confirmation from everybody to make sure that's actually going to happen. But that is the plan. Those are the dates that we put out originally. So if everything falls into place like we're hoping it does, we should have an episode of Comic Book Weekly this coming Tuesday. So tune in for that. But with that said, let's get into some honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention comes from Dark Horse Comics. This is Concrete Stars Over Sand, issue number 1. This is a new 5-part story for this popular character. I've never read Concrete, but I know there is a cult following for this character, for this property. So if that is you, go check this one out from Dark Horse. Next up from Keen Spot, we have Pimp Killer issue number 1. It says, got pimp problems? Then L.A. Jones is your woman. She's made a nice little business of herself for the last few, hunting down pimps. So this is written by Caden Phoenix, who does a lot of Kickstarter work, is part of this Latina superhero team, and she did a book called Laquita. She's done other stuff on Keen Spot and everything. So I wanted to kind of shout out a fellow indie creator. So if this sounds interesting to you, or you want to check out more of Caden's work, go check that out. Now let's get into a couple of noteworthy books. First up, we have 616 Day Marvel Mystery Bag featuring Doom. This has the chance of Avengers number 25, a couple of editions of that, Fantastic Four number 258, or Iron Man number 149. These are all facsimiles editions, not actually originals. But it does say it could contain some ultra rare surprises. If you're big into the blind bag stuff, you might want to check this one out. And our other honor or noteworthy book this week is The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31. Not strictly speaking a first issue or a new arc or anything like that. That's why it's on noteworthy and not part of the countdown. But this is the much discussed issue of Amazing Spider-Man entitled The Talk. And after what happened at the end of the last issue, where we found out that maybe May and Ben could have kids after all, and maybe that's the talk that we're going to have here. That's kind of what the cover alludes to. We're going to see how this plays out with Peter Parker's mysterious cousin. So I'm excited for that one. But again, it couldn't go on the countdown, but I definitely wanted to mention it and make you aware that this is the issue that we've been waiting for, the talk and the revelation of who this mystery cousin actually is. But with that, let's get into this week's top 8. Coming in at number 8 is New Titans number 36. This is one of those make or break issues for me. I didn't love the previous arc. I liked the first issue or two, but then it just kind of, I don't know. It delved into territory where I wasn't enjoying it as much. So this going in a new direction. They don't have the tower anymore. They're going to Titans Mountain, or Mount Titans as they call it, and they're setting up shop there. So this is supposedly the beginning of a new era for the Titans. Hopefully we'll get more screen time for some of the other characters, but this is one of those that if it doesn't grab me right away, we'll see what happens. But that's why New Titans number 36 comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Uncanny X-Men issue at number 30. This is Mars versus the mutants. I don't know what the heck is going on here. We know that Rogue and Gambit are kind of going away and some other people are stepping up, but now there's an alien invasion just out of nowhere. It's weird. This book is all over the place, and this is another one that's kind of on the bubble for me, and that's why it's a little bit lower on the countdown this week. Strictly speaking, also not a number 1, but it is a new story, so I thought I would include it because we're kind of light on books this week. But Yeah, so we're going to see what happens with Uncanny X-Men, but I think this one will be a determining factor for me, and that's why Uncanny X-Men number 30 comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Nightwing issue number 139. This is another one it's a little bit stronger for me than the other two previous ones, but it's still kind of on that bubble a little bit. We've kind of been dealing with this whole thing with Nightwing versus the city and being thought of as a criminal and everything, and obviously everything going on in Gotham kind of probably informs that as well. But now all these long buried bodies underneath the highway are surfacing, and Nightwing is at the center of everything. So we're going to see how that plays out in this issue, and that's why Nightwing number 139 comes in at number 6. All right, top 5. Coming in at number 5, Spider-Man Long Way Home. This is another flashback series, but it's written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Adam Kubert, which, superstar creative team. I love Adam Kubert. I love the Kubert's art in general, all of them. And this one is a interesting flashback where it's before the Punisher, before the Hulk, and the Cosmic Cube is in play. Frank Castle, Bruce Banner, and Peter Parker are all on a mission to keep it out of the wrong hands. I don't understand how these three came together if they're not the Punisher and the Hulk, but we'll see how that plays out. Interesting concept for a story. This is 32 pages of $5.99, and that's why Spider-Man Long Way Home comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the latest What If story. This is what if the mighty Thor had gotten Peter Parker's symbiote, the Venom symbiote, instead of Peter Parker. How would that story have played out if Thor, the mighty Thor, the god of lightning, the Norse god of lightning, gets this symbiote and forms this bond? What happens then? And it seems like an interesting story. We've seen these kind of stories before in the classic What If series. They did a lot of, what if such and such got this or that. So this is a classic, kind of what if tale. So I'm curious about it. And since it seems like a bit of a lighter week, maybe I'll try it out. And that's why What If Thor comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 from Mad Cave is Land of Never, issue number 1. This one sounds kind of interesting. This guy's daughter disappears from a room, and all he sees is this giant figure at her window, and nobody believes him. And so we fast forward 6 months later, and he's trying to find anybody that will listen to him, that will believe him. But, he's cried wolf, and nobody, he's kind of, the town boy who cried wolf kind of thing. And it's become a cold case and all this stuff going on. But, he's still on the search, and he's got to find what's going on. And he finds this whole community. He goes on this rabbit hole, finds this whole community and this cryptid that they call the Floating Man. And that kind of leads him down the path to try to find his daughter, Wendy. So it sounds like a really interesting concept. But the thing that really sold me is Steve Orlando is writing this, and I've been a big fan of his writing, in his Marvel stuff particularly. So I'm excited to see what he does with this. And that's why Land of Never comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is G.I. Joe issue number 23. Again, not a first issue, but it is an origin story. This is the origin of Risk. This is a character that popped onto the scene in early days on the G.I. Joe team and kind of had some conflict with Duke for a little bit. We kind of thought maybe he was going to be Zartan. That ended up being somebody else. And so now we're finally going to see where this guy came from, who Risk actually is. Plus, we get Destro and Baroness meeting again. So we're going to see how that plays out as well. I'm excited for this one. Always excited for G.I. Joe. But I couldn't put it at number 1 because A, it's not a number 1 issue or even the beginning of a story arc. And B, there was another book that I'm a little bit more curious about. So let's get into our number 1 pick for this week is from Ghost Machine. This is the $1 Trillion Kid, issue number 1. This is tying into the Rockefellers and Halo and Hornsby, and it's the Unbelievables arc, and this is part 1 of 4 of this story. So we've kind of been getting teases with the 0 issues of those 2 titles. So it's this completely other side of Ghost Machine that's outside of like the Red Coat and Geiger and Rook and all that stuff. You've got more of a family friendly kind of vibe on this side of it. So I'm curious about this because it gives me vibes of Richie Rich. But it's like tech and everything, and he's a superhero. So we're going to see how that plays out. It's kind of fun. I like this. This is written by Jeff Johns and Peter J. Tomasi, with art by Stefano Simeone. So, and letters by Rob Lee, who I've worked with before. Fantastic letterer. Actually lettered my book, The Last Ember, at least one issue of it. And so, yeah, phenomenal creative team on this book. And I'm really excited for this one. I can't wait to read this one. And that's why The $1 Trillion Kid comes in at #1. And there you have it. That is this week's top 8. Those are the first for June 17th. Like I said, a little bit of a slower week, especially for first issues and that kind of thing. So, um, it is what it is. We have those weeks. Sometimes there's 15 or 20 to choose from, and it's kind of hard to narrow them down. This time it was like, okay, I got to find books that can fit into the this countdown, so it's not just like a top 3 or whatever. But I think I did a good job. I think we had some interesting books there, but mainly like those top 5 are probably the ones that you're going to pay attention to, as far as first issues go. And a couple of them I'm genuinely excited about. So we'll see how those play out. But yeah, if you're excited, if I can spit out the words here, if you are excited about any of the books that I talked about this week, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I always appreciate the comments, and I always love interacting with you all. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And of course, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the content going up on this channel. Of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, or type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Keep reading those comics, and I'll see you soon.